In this small video tutorial series, I'm going to show you the basics of using Krita for video game graphics. Specifically, we'll be using Krita for UV mapping. So first things first, in this first video tutorial, I'm going to show you just the basics of opening up Krita and kind of getting around the interface, and just using some of the basic tools that we'll be using for UV mapping inside the Blender game engine. So the first thing you need to know is how to get Krita. So open up a web browser and go to krita.org, and you can see some really nice examples, some resources, some interviews with artists. You can check out the features page. There's some really nice things to highlight here. Of course, there's a gallery which shows you a pretty good diversity of what Krita can do, certainly the styles and things like that. You would then want to go to download, and you're going to choose your operating system. So most of you at home are going to be using either Windows or Mac, most likely. You could also download on the home page where it says Get Krita Now. Okay, so once you've downloaded it and installed it, this is what Krita should look like when you first open it up. One thing that I've noted is that you can't click on any of the buttons or click on any of the settings over here until you actually create a canvas. So I'm not sure if I like that feature or not, but I guess it forces you to get some paper first before you actually create. So I'm going to come up here to the File menu and choose New. Okay, so the basics are that right here you have dimensions and you have content. I would say leave the content tab alone for now. The settings are generally really good. For dimensions, you're going to want to come down here and you've got the width and the height, and you can change the unit of measurement from pixels to inches, but because we're using Krita for video game design, you're going to want to most likely stay in pixels. So I'm going to start off with 640 by 480 pixels, a resolution of 72 pixels per inch, and that's a standard size for a typical video game background. So my canvas comes in. I can zoom in and zoom out with my mouse wheel, so I can scroll my mouse wheel and I can zoom in and zoom out. Over here on the left hand side are all of your basic tools, so to paint, to erase, to draw straight lines, some selection tools, things like that. Tools that allow you to adjust layers. We'll be getting into that in a little bit. Up here in the top center, you'll see a couple sliders here, opacity and size, and that affects the opacity of your brush and affects the size of your brush. And you can see I'm just messing around here on the canvas here. Over here in the top right-hand corner, you'll see that I've got my color picker here, standard art triangle here and color wheel. So again, you can click and you can drag around, choose whatever color you want, and it's pretty good. I will say that the Mac version of Krita is newer than the Windows version is, and so it's a little bit, because it's a little newer, it has a couple more little bugs and things like that, unfortunately, than I believe the Windows version does. So, but I truly believe that it will get caught up. The Krita developers are really good. I like what they're doing. So it's just a matter of time. Down below the color picker, you'll see that we have these three tabs here. The first one is layers, which of course is extremely important in video game creation. So we have our layers here, and you can just create a brand new layer by clicking and tapping on this little plus symbol down here in the bottom left hand corner, and there's a new layer right there, and I can go ahead and choose a new color, and I can go ahead and brush that new color. There we go. I of course can delete a layer by tapping on the little garbage can here in the bottom right. In the next tab over, next to layers, is I have the brush presets, and this is where you're going to see all of Krita's brushes. So there's this pop-up menu that will list different categories, and you can start off with all, and you'll see all these thumbnails, and you can just go ahead and see every single thumbnail that you want, and you could just tap on one of these and go ahead and paint with it right away. and you can leave your mouse pointer over it and it will tell you what the name of that brush is, so you can start to learn and memorize some of your favorites possibly. Let's see, real quickly, to change the brush size on the fly, if you hold down the Shift key, and when you hold down Shift and drag your pen to the right, you'll make your brush size bigger. If you Shift and drag your pen to the left, you will make your pen size smaller. Okay, so that is it. You can change your opacity. I'm going to clear my canvas. I'm going to press the small delete key on the keyboard, and I'm going to go ahead and here's 100% opacity, or sorry, an opacity of 1. And if I go ahead and I change the opacity to say 0.5, you'll see that now I'm getting a semi-transparent brushstroke. And of course, if I go over it and over it and over it again, it will in fact build up and become more and more opaque. Couple little other tips in this intro tutorial. Let me change my brush color. Now on the pens that we have in the classroom, your pen has 2 buttons. It's got a side button here, and there's 2 buttons. If you press the forward button, you'll actually get the lovely Krita pop-up wheel. And the pop-up wheel does a couple of things here. First of all, it's a quickest way to get to your color picker. So I can go ahead and just tap on this green here. Maybe we'll go with kind of a blue, and I can just choose it, and then I come on out here and I can go ahead and paint. Go ahead and bring my opacity back up, and there we go. If I click back on that button again, you'll see that going around the color wheel in the outer ring, it's actually memorizing and showing me what colors I've used recently. So it's sort of a color history. So now if I go ahead and choose a purple and I start painting with a purple and go back to that color wheel, you'll see that now purple is added to that. I'm not sure, they're getting smaller and smaller. I'm not sure how many colors actually will show up inside that color wheel, so I've never sat around and tested it, but it will do that. Up here in your color picker, up here in the top right hand corner, you'll also notice a vertical color history as well, so that will happen as well, although I think the pop-up wheel is actually easier. Let's see, so you can pick your colors, so that's really nice. The other thing you can do in this pop-up picker is that down here in the bottom right hand corner, you'll see 2 little circles. If you tap on the first circle, you'll go ahead and you'll get all the different categories of brushes. So for instance, if I want to choose the ink category, it will load up the 3 brushes that the Krita company has created, and I can go ahead and I can just get to my favorites. And so this is one of my favorite, good inky brushes, and I can quickly just go straight to black, and I've got a nice black inky brush. So that's really cool. In an advanced tutorial later, I'll show you how to load up your own brushes here in this outer ring here, which of course customizes Krita and makes you very, very, very happy. Okay, so you know how to change your brush size, you know how to change your color picker real quickly. So the forward button on the pen gets you the color picker and some of these brush presets. The back button actually allows you to pan around your document. So if you zoom in and you're working really close up and you're doing some detailed work here, you can go ahead and use the backward button, and you can of course go ahead and just pan, and it takes a little getting used to, but it works really, really, really well. So I highly recommend that you try that out. Okay, let's see. Last but not least is the magical erase feature. So if I'm brushing here and I'm creating some new content here, if I press the letter E on my keyboard, the brush, it's the same brush, but it's gone to eraser mode. And so now it's a temporary eraser, and if I press E again, it's now back in brush mode. So to know whether you're in erase mode or not, it's this guy right up here that's supposed to look like a little eraser there. So if I press E, you'll see that that little button highlights, and now it tells me I'm in eraser mode. And again, if I press E, I'm back in ink mode, and that works really well. So for instance, here's where it's a nice advantage. If I go ahead and choose a brush, I'm going to choose this kind of spongy brush here. And if I go ahead and, I really like this brush a lot, if I go ahead and I do this, let's say this is called the bristle texture, which I really like. So it's laying down a lot of really great texture. But now if I press E, it's now in erase mode. It's going to erase with that same texture, which is really cool. I'm not getting a nice clean erase. I can actually build up and do some really faint stuff, and this really opens up. You have to, as a digital artist, remember that erasing isn't just to get rid of mistakes or things like that. You have to really think and change your mindset and know that the eraser is just as good as creating as the brush mode is. So again, press E again, and now you're back into paint mode. Okay, so that's going to be it for this quick introduction to Krita. In the next couple video tutorials, we'll get more and more into what Krita can do, and then we'll start getting into combining Blender's UV mapping with Krita to make some photoreal textures. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the next video.